Till next time, remember,
mind your business. Okay, so for read here,
Welcome back, guys, to the Mind Your Business podcast, where we discuss how to stay business-minded and mindful in your business. After some feedback of last week's episode, I don't know why I said last week because it was more than a week ago.
On September 6th episode.
Yeah, our September 6th episode. When we are referring to your business, it's kind of a play on words because we are two entrepreneurs. We definitely run our own business and we try to give you advice to keep your mind strong to run yours. But your business is your business. Like your business, your everyday life, your decision making, just how to help you navigate it from two people who are trying and learning as we go. So I just wanted to clarify.
Dory said, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Yeah, literally. Swimming, sometimes you're just drowning, but that's another story for another day. Anyway.
You know what I want to jump into is a weird topic that I watched actually last night, and I forget. I wish I could credit the guy, the podcast that I watched. Oh, it's gonna bother me. But anyways, he was talking about how like Amazon. Did you know it's 25 years old? Did you know that? Amazon has been around for 25 years. Amazon has been around for 25 years, but it's not for the past 7 that Jeff Bezos has reaped the benefits of it, like taking off. Of the hard work at the first 18 years is really what set him up for the 7 years of like where he's been now being a billionaire.
How many times do you think has Jeff Bezos filed for bankruptcy? Because he had to. You know how many billionaire companies have to file for bankruptcy just like as a strategic play? Like
whatever he did, it worked.
Yeah, no kidding. As we have like the Amazon man knocking on the door.
Most business owners, like when you jump into owning a business, like whether it's real estate or what I do, my own beauty brand, you don't really reap the benefits for a few years after.
It's such an investment.
People don't talk about that.
What's the term?
I think it's instant gratification.
Delayed gratification. Mm-hmm. It's delayed gratification. Oh my gosh.
But people think it's instant. Where do you? People be like, oh my God, you sell a product and you sell it for this much and you must be, oh my God, you just must have all this money. And I'm like, I have a huge overhead that I have to make back before I even pay myself. And business owners get paid last. Like we don't, everybody else comes out the top. What left over is for us. And you know what? I'm cool with that because it costs to be the boss. But at the end of the day, people think jumping into owning your own company. And I think that's why a lot of business owners fail because they don't have the consistency or the longevity in it. And that's going to lead into today's episode because we're really going to talk more about your career. One of the first questions that I have that I thought about earlier, I was literally in the shower. I was outside an outdoor shower and I was like, that's it. I'm going to ask you this. How do you stay relevant or get clients in such a competitive, cutthroat industry, but also maintain, because you're such a morally balanced person, so how do you maintain those two in such a shark industry?
So that is a really interesting question, you know, and it's funny because I was thinking about this a few days ago. I actually had a pretty large client snatched out from under me. It was not fun. I won't name names, but took food out of my family's mouth. Mm-hmm. And it was devastating. Mm-hmm. But what won them over was something I wasn't willing to do because ethically it was a little shaky. Mm-hmm. And they found someone else that was willing to do it. And that's great. That's awesome. I'm not mad. I hope that everything goes smoothly for them in their endeavor. But ultimately, when you align your business so closely with your morals, you have to, before you make that decision, you have to be okay with understanding that not everyone's going to agree with your morals. Mm-hmm. And knowing and trusting
or align with them at all.
Or align with them. And just knowing and trusting that, okay, if they don't like the way that I operate and do business, there's somebody else out there that will appreciate that. And that will be my winning factor to somebody else where it's a reason for somebody else to maybe discard me.
So it's kind of like how we were talking about Jeff Bezos taking 18 years probably because he stuck to his guns. He wanted to keep his company intact. He wanted to keep it. He had a vision for it that nobody else might have seen. But you can see your vision for your future better than anyone else. So those hard years that you're putting in, that client probably would have been huge. It would have been a big break for your career and took you to the next level maybe.
Absolutely.
But you also had another major thing that we'll talk about later that happened in your life that I'm so proud about her. But see, things like that is what happens though.
Exactly. One door closed,
exactly.
Another
they
opened.
Balance out. And whether we're religious or not, and I know we are, in our aspects, that's God basically saying, I'm going to reward you for sticking to your guns and sticking to your morals and saying, hey, this one isn't for me. It's for somebody else, and the next one will come.
Something that I think a lot of us get wrong, and maybe, it's different if you believe in the universe, but when you believe in God, his promise is not for us to have an easy route. Mm-hmm. We choose to follow him. In fact, he guarantees it's the opposite. It's going to be pretty difficult. And so to find blessings along that route, to me, is just something to be so grateful for. So I ride off the high of every deal, of every client, of every transaction that I get, and knowing that like it was a blessing that I have, and that it was a blessing to be able to help them. It was a blessing to be able to be a part of their life, even if it was for a short amount of time. And a lot of the time that's not the case. A lot of it's funny because a lot of my clients have become friends. My clients have become friends quicker than my friends have become clients. Let that sink in.
And that is true there.
Let that sink in.
That even over here is, I can resonate with that because, you know, it's what is that one time what you told me? It's easier to turn a stranger into a client than a friend into a client or something along those lines. So true. Customer as well. The C words go together. Customer, client, whatever. Yeah. It's literally so crazy how many people will say they support you, but in actuality, the nasty side behind it is they don't want you to do better than them. And once you start to quote unquote in their eyes do better than them, because the only person you're competing with is the person you were yesterday.
Exactly.
But a lot of people don't grasp that. And I think that's why our relationship has lasted and kind of almost withstood the test of time, because they say coming up, I think it's 5 to 7 years. If you're friends for that long, you'll be friends for a lifetime.
We're coming right up. We're what, on 6?
Yeah, it's coming up there. And I'll tell you what, girl, I'm happy that I'm now at almost 30, the people that are in my life. And I was devastated a few years ago because, especially when I moved here, it's a new city, I didn't know a lot of people. It took a lot of people out of my life that weren't supposed to be there. And the ones that were there. But the ones that weren't, there's people who is still, me being in my house for 2 years, have never came to be like, let me see your house. Because you know why? They don't care, and they're not supposed to be in your life at that point. And the people that are here, and that's okay. That is 100% okay.
That's perfectly
But what I'm saying
fine.
is, don't fight the process. And I fought the process for so long, and I was like, no, I love these people, and I want them there, and I still do with certain people, a lot of people in my life. But I'm slowly starting to realize, and with my business as well, things happen not on your time, but the time they're supposed to. Whether you call that God's time, the universe's time, whatever time, it's not yours.
When it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen, and all you can do is do like your best to live to your calling. So wherever that moral compass lines up to you, like, that's all you can do.
Alrighty, Valerie. So how do you take your morality aspect of things and lead that into getting new clients?
So conversation, really, as far as real estate goes, anybody in real estate, anybody successful in real estate is going to tell you, you need to have conversations. You need to make connections. Organic, blah, blah, blah. Which, yes, I agree. That is 87% of my business, I think, the last time I checked. 86 or 87% is organic conversations. It comes up, I find my way to weasel it in there, cool. But the best conversation starter at the tips of our fingers right now is social media, obviously. The
power is insane.
Yeah, and like you, for instance, like you have, 11,000 members in your group? So like, how are you utilizing that for your business? Like, how's your experience been? What are you doing? Are you doing like targeted ads? Are you running Facebook ads? Like,
no, all mine is organic growth from word of mouth and constant
What's the timeline on that? Like, how long has the group been?
2.5, almost 3 years. But I'd say really truthfully of like gaining the traction of what I wanted to do owning a company, because in the beginning it didn't start off that way. It just started more of like a blog, like a beauty blog.
Yeah.
And it grew into me being like, okay, we're starting to get some traction. I want to take it to the next level. So blah, 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 moved into finding manufacturers, product development came along. So organically, out of almost 11, actually, no, we hit 11,000. We're pushing now 11,100. It is going to come into target audiences. Of 11,000 people, we have a good about almost 8,000 that are truly there for the makeup, truthfully are involved, have engaged, bought something, comment regularly, or like interact with the group or the company itself.
Right.
Now the other 5,000, it's not a waste. The other 5,000 goes into social currency. So just because you're not interacting or doing anything or buying anything, those people, you still know who the company is. You're still getting brand recognition.
Can you break down what social currency is for those that might not be familiar with the term?
Social currency is not monetary currency, but it's funneled down from social currency into probably being monetized into.
That's the goal. You would want to monetize your social currency.
So for example, me, I'll break it down with my beauty brand. So we have 11,000 members on the group that we're going to funnel to the website. So in the group, we're promoting the website of my brand, right? So therefore, you're redirecting traffic from Facebook to your own personal intellectual property, which is your website that you own your domain to, and the products that are selling through it and the business, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So social currency is basically your name being out there. So basically saying, oh, I needed a mascara. I just ran out of mine. Oh, that little gay boy on Facebook sells makeup, and that is the cutest mascara. I'm going to try that. That is social currency. It's the brand recognition. I mean, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah.
But that's like the simplest I could probably break it down to. And to somebody who is building their business, whether it's a service, a product, whatever, I personally say pick one platform, grow it, master it, do what you can on it,
Yeah.
and then push it to the next. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here with the show. Also, I wanted to do have that many people get pushed over a little bit, but it's hard to convert. Convert whether it is money or people from one website to another. It's hard.
Yeah.
So if you can do it, you can do it, but don't give up because it's going to come with consistency and time and experience.
Consistency and showing up is key. I'm not going to lie. Like all of this is like from trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started in the real estate industry, I was like, okay, I need a like business page.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Instagram because it was simpler. It was just, you know, quick pictures. I get on Instagram and scroll. Reels were just becoming like a big thing on Instagram. And I was
trying to compete with TikTok and shorts.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Competing with, all of that. And, you know, now YouTube's competing with the YouTube shorts. So I was like, okay, I will do my business page on Instagram. And it's still up to this day. You can go find it. It's Your Agent Val with some underscores. I'll link it down below if you want to see it. But
you were actually very smart with what you're about to say, merging them.
Yeah, I merged it to my personal page because it didn't feel authentic to me. And I felt like that inauthenticity was translating over to my potential clients. And if there's anything I am, it's real. Like I'm going to tell you,
100%.
like I will tell you what I've done, what I regret, what I did this, what I that, like what I ate for breakfast yesterday and how it disagreed with me later. Like I don't care about that. So it just felt really authentic to me. But I was coming from a little bit like of an older crowd of mentorship that was like, no, you need to have this business page. And don't get me wrong, for some people, young entrepreneurs, like it works. Like in real estate specifically, like they look great, they look polished, they look professional. But that wasn't what I wanted to portray. I wanted to portray like because I'm a person
you
who
really
cares
are a
about
real person that's selling the house. It's Val selling you the house.
I care about what this is going to do. You know, I don't care about how aesthetic the pictures are after we're done closing. I don't care about that. Like I care about, okay, what does this mean for your long-term finances? When do you want to call me to see about refinancing?
Yeah.
I hope you call me in 3 years when you want to pull some equity out, you know, and make your next purchases, like help you kind of like mesh with your wealth planning person and figure out what down the line, like what does this mean for you? What does this mean for your legacy? How can you build like that? Like I'm a person.
So you would say that's kind of how you took advantage of social media in your marketing. Like you kind of like took away the aspect of just selling all the time yourself to people to truthfully say, okay, Valerie, this is who I am. You can choose to come over here and use me to buy a house or use me for any of your real estate needs. Or you can choose to maybe just not at the end of the day. It is what it is. And that is fine too. But you truthfully merging your stuff together, like, is so smart. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the show as well, with Rated R Beauty in a way, because like I'm so constantly sales based. I want to show through and kind of take a page out of your book and like truthfully show Ryan. You know what I mean? And not always like buy this mascara, buy this. I mean, don't get me wrong, a business is what a business is, and it's going to be there for the marketing. We have to do that.
But it's just so much more fulfilling when you get to shine through, and especially once you put yourself in the center of your business spotlight, that spotlight's going to show some imperfections you might not have noticed before.
And it will break you.
It will break you, but then you get this rebuilding process. So, and we constantly have these conversations of, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I've been thinking this way for this whole time. And like, I'm just stuck in this negative mindset or this negative habit or this cycle that I can't break through. And we don't realize it until we're really trying to put ourselves in our business spotlight, because that spotlight shows us these things. And so it's a beautiful thing that you get to grow and cultivate yourself through your business. You get to grow your business through yourself. And so for me, merging like a personal life and a business life made most sense to me, because at the end of the day, I don't want my clients to just see me as a business person or as their realtor. I want them to see me as their person. Like I said, most of my clients are my friends, have become friends.
You don't just grow monetarily and get new clients. You're also growing yourself in your social currency that we were talking about as well.
With like, organic connections.
Exactly.
And that doesn't always show through on social media. My numbers are a lot less than yours.
I don't want people to get caught up on a numbers game, because I did, and I still am. Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. One of my biggest faults is I am on to the next number.
But I love that you're so number coordinated. You really are.
But also that's a fault to a point, because numbers don't mean success. there's so many businesses. I mean, for example, we both bartended. It's something that I actually love too. It's natural connections, and I would recommend doing that to anybody
I've
who's trying
gotten
to
3
grow their
clients
business.
from working behind that bar.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about that. Y'all stay tuned for our next episode. I know the title of that one's going to be Funding Your Dream.
Yes.
We both had to work in bars to fund our businesses.
Yeah,
and it is what it is.
Going back into the social media thing, though, I don't want people to get caught up in numbers because I know I did. And yes, the numbers are great, and having that many numbers is fabulous, but it does not mean happiness or success. If anything, it steals from it because I'm constantly pushing 11,000 people. When I hit 10,000, I was like, for one day, I was like, oh my God, I did it. Okay, now next number. Yeah. I gotta push. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, but I think it's really
that.
finding a balance because at the end of the day, like there is an algorithm to success.
Yeah.
And you don't have an algorithm without numbers. Mm-hmm. Like for me personally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get, now with the market shift and everything, about 120 no's before I get a yes.
Yeah.
So if I want to get 2 yeses a month, do you know how many conversations I have to have a day?
240, almost 250.
Yeah. That's 250 conversations in a 30-day period. In a 30-day period, somebody that's good at math, 250 conversations divided by 30. That's a lot per day. That's a lot per day.
That's
so
like
that's the algorithm.
No. Actually, I don't know. When you break it down, like I'm a numbers bitch.
New conversations.
That's only that's like 300 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 10 a day.
That's 10 a day. 10 new conversations a day. But it doesn't sound that bad. But then you're
listen to me. I'm the numbers pusher. I'm like that sounds doable. I can go out there and talk to some bitches.
You're right.
But it's really not. It's
but it is like you're right. But it's 10 new conversations a day, right? And then plus following up on like
quality conversations.
Yeah, quality conversations, and then plus following up with people that are like, maybe they were gonna buy, maybe they were gonna sell, Like you want to stay top of mind to them, so you're adding.
You know what I just thought about now that I want to add into this video? That's so funny.
What?
That actually, it was one of the business tips that you did. Actually, when we were in Las Vegas, that kind of had me be like, huh, that's actually very smart, and that's why obviously I'm friends with this girl because she's a fucking genius.
What was it? Before take credit.
There was a girl who was looking for a house. For long story short, we were all sitting down eating. Me, you, and Katie at I think it was the last restaurant we were about to leave to go to the airport later that night, or maybe it was the next day. Anyways, he was like, "Hold on, you guys, I have to go outside and send this lady a video of me talking to her because all these other real estate agents, because she's looking for one, are gonna hound her like hungry sharks, and they're gonna send her all these messages. And I want to stand out. Like I want her to see my personality. I want her to hear my voice. I want her to be part of me actually reaching out to her and seeing me, my face." And I was like, that is so genius. Like that is insanely genius.
Well, thank you.
It's just like thinking outside the box. You can always learn from another entrepreneur. Like it might not be the exact same thing, me needing to send a bitch a message and be like, do you need some mascara? No, it's not gonna work.
I remember that because
it makes you respect somebody, you know?
Well, and we were in Vegas, we were having a good time. I was a few drinks in at this dinner, and I remember I was like, oh junk. Like I got somebody hit me up, and so I even told her, I said, hey, Susie Q, I remember holding my phone outside of we were at the Rio Grande or something.
I don't know where
I was like, hey, Susie Q, just so you know, I am on vacation in Vegas right now, but I will be back in like 0.32 hours. And I want to help you so much. I just wanted to let you know I'm taking the time for my vacation to let you know how important this is to me. You sent me the stats on this house. I went ahead and packaged up all of that for you so that you have it all together. Check your inbox with this.
Yeah.
Like da-da-da-da-da. And she messaged me back, and she
out of at least probably 100 real estate agents.
She was so kind, and she was so like, thank you so much. Like she was like, thank you. You have no idea how annoying it is that I
have all these strangers.
She looked at one house on Zillow, and on Zillow, just so y'all know, I hope YouTube doesn't partner with Zillow because that way we're gonna get demonetized.
It's okay.
But Zillow sells your information. So does Realtor.com. Realtor.com and Zillow both. So they're platforms for lead generation for realtors. They pay into our MLS. Our MLS is the multi-listing service. Any realtor is going to use the MLS to list the properties. Zillow and Realtor.com pay into those MLSs so that they have that access to the information, and then they brand them on a user-friendly interface that, we all have the Zillow app, the Realtor.com app. Home Snap was one for a while. I think that one's kind of taken the back burner.
That's what they get you. They get you to sign up, and then they sell your info.
They sell your info. So when you're like, talk to a buyer's agent, or you can even get reports, like analytical reports on who is looking at it from what areas are they looking at your properties that are listed, and then if so they make money. They make money off the agents. They make money off the back of the agents because now they say, okay, agent, if you want this info, you need to give me some coin.
Yeah.
If you want a buyer lead, you need to give me some coin. And so what happens is there are a lot of great agents that use Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads, but there's also some agents out there who can't get business on their own, and so they just throw money at the problem in hopes that it'll bring them more agents. And unfortunately, you're not guaranteed to have a good experience if you get connected with an agent through Zillow or through Realtor.com. That's why it's really, really important to figure out who you're working with before you sign a contract with them.
That's such a weird business plan because your ROI is not even guaranteed.
Oh, are you kidding? It's genius. How do you think Zillow made so much money to buy up all this property?
No, I'm saying like for real estate agents to pay into all this money and hoping you're going to get money back, like you can't return on
honey, that's the name of the game. Do you know how much money you have to put in just to keep your license up?
A weird business model though. Like how do they make their money back, or like what is the tea behind that as a real estate agent?
So it's a gamble, just like the entire real estate industry is a gamble. It takes so much money to even get off of the ground. You have to pay for your education, pay to take your exams, pay to hang your license with a brokerage, pay your brokerage fees, pay your MLS fees, pay your marketing, pay your realtor association dues, and this is all before the first commission check hits. So it's just another expense at this point to say, okay, Zillow, I know everybody and their mama uses Zillow. The odds that they're going to see a house when they're ready to buy.
I hate Zillow though. Do y'all hate Zillow? Because this person says like, hey, Zillow said I can get this $400,000 house for $800 a month.
Yeah, Zillow is, I'm in a love-hate relationship with Zillow. I think a lot of realtors are. Some are gung-ho. They love it. Some absolutely can't stand it. I am more of the train of thought of like, you are making it easier for my client to access this information. A lot of times because of Zillow and Realtor.com, clients are going to send me homes and be like, can you give me the 411 on this home? So it takes a little off my plate in a sense, but then you turn around on somebody who maybe you're doing the listing for, you're going to sell their house, and then that's where it comes in of like, Zillow says my house is worth $7 million, and you're like, what do you mean? It's 1,000 square feet, and it sold for $500,000 last year. Where are you getting this number? And so sometimes it does set a bit of a false precedent. That's why it's just important to rely on the
I want to ask you something too really fast while we're thinking about it, Val. You said earlier that social media was one of the best marketing tools for getting new clients, getting yourself out there, social currency, monetizing your career, whatever. I remember when we were going through a contract, there was a house that we looked at whenever I was looking to buy a house. You said there was a lady who refused to sign paperwork, e-sign. So do you think that real estate agents that are refusing to move along with the times, do you think that they're going to get eaten up and kind of spit out now that the new day and age is more like digitally? Clients are across the world, maybe across the country.
I don't think it's fair to say if you don't do this, you won't succeed, or if you do this, you'll succeed, because there is no guarantee.
Yeah.
I think you need to find what works best for you. And first off, I know that sounds cliche. Let me break it down for you. And this applies in any aspect of life, whether it's building a business, real estate, your life in general. Maybe you have something that you want to accomplish. What works is whatever you're going to be most consistent in.
What works for you might not work for the next lady.
No, but what works for you is whatever you're going to be consistent in.
Yeah.
Like consistency is key, kind of like you were saying with your page.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to be consistent in is what's going to get you the results.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable setting up a tripod and doing a TikTok dance to get clients, then maybe you need to start getting comfortable door knocking, cold calling.
Kind of like we are right now, just talking to each other in a camera.
Yeah,
you have to do what you have to do to make it work, to kind of see the full bigger picture to make things happen.
Yeah, 100%. And the bigger picture for me with this isn't necessarily like business or real estate. The big picture with this for me is showing people, one, our friendship that we've cultivated through a lot of lines and boundaries that society tells us we shouldn't be friends because of these lines and boundaries, and to air that in a world where everybody has to pick a side and then hate the other one. I just think that's so big, and the fact that we get to bond over the love that we have for each other and our love for business and entrepreneurship is just like the whipped cream and cherry on top.
And also grow from each other, because you get to get exposed to an opinion you might not agree with, but you're also kind of like, wow, I respect this person, and kind of think about it more, because a stranger can say something to you and it has no weight, but somebody that you have like respect for, look up to in a lot of ways, or like even partnership with in a lot of ways, you're gonna be like, wow, this person I know is so smart and is so great in so many aspects. Let me kind of like reevaluate my point of view to
Exactly.
maybe look at a bigger picture of something that necessarily I wouldn't have looked at before.
How can we adapt? How can we change? How can we shift?
Exactly. How can you better yourself every day too? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like you don't know everything, just like how I don't know everything. So you've opened my eyes up to situations sometimes where I'm like, wow, I never thought about that before.
And you've done the same for me. You've definitely done the same for me. So
let me ask you this too, really fast when we go into this real estate, and we can both kind of like tell each other where our end goal is. Where's all this hard work landing you? Where do you want to end up in 30 years in your career and say, you know what, I'm satisfied and I did it. This is what I've worked for.
Oh, all of a sudden you ask that question and that imposter syndrome starts creeping in.
Mm-hmm.
30 years from now, successfully looks like a 20-year stint in residential real estate.
Yeah.
All along the way, assuming a couple of properties of my own, making passive income, ensuring that my family is good, and then applying my real estate knowledge that I have to acquire a lump sum of properties or multi-unit properties, and start a nonprofit for transitional housing for women escaping domestic violence.
Get down.
I know that's out there. I'm not a counselor. I'm not anything like that. But what I can do is bring the knowledge that I have to the table to acquire these things at a cheaper cost to help, because ultimately, again, like,
you're such a beautiful soul. I'm so happy we're doing this video together, and honestly, I'm happy I asked you that because I did not ask Valerie this off camera. Like I hit her straight up, like,
yeah, that's
where you want to be in 20 years,
it was
girl?
Like a scary question.
Where?
It's like, I'm gonna sound kind of silly.
But the fact that you say that really shows your character, because you're doing all this for your family, but also for women that might not have a place to go, or as a woman yourself and such, you've gone through so much at your age. I'm pretty sure you know what it's like to kind of have be that scary point in life where you're like, hey,
I've been at a point where somebody else's decisions have affected me so drastically that I didn't know how I was going to feed my child.
And I don't want to kind of give a woman a little bit of relief off their back, saying, hey, we're going to help you get on your feet. We're going to do this, this, and this. We got a plan. You're going to be okay. But at the end of the day, it just has to start, because that's something that Oakland can get passed down to, and she can finish the mission and then pass it to her daughter. And then, like, it could be like this generation of women giving back to women, and that is so beautiful. Like, it kind of gets, mine isn't as like, yours is so beautiful. Mine is just showing people that it's possible to be different in a world in the South, like where we're from, and be who you are and not have to run away and leave. I remember when I was gonna graduate high school, I wanted to leave so bad.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I hate that you say it's not as beautiful, because everybody's purpose.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Like, yours is just like so meticulously cut. Mine's just so simple. It's just like, hey, you can be different and you can be.
But that's okay.
Your environment doesn't determine your success, or your environment doesn't determine who you are or who you have to be. At the end of the day, if you feel, act, breathe, walk, talk your own way, that's what makes you happy and what makes you you. Like, somebody's gonna love it for you, and if somebody doesn't, cool, that's okay.
Exactly.
You know? And it took me a long time to realize that. Like, I really for a long time was like, well, I need to go to California or Florida, where people that are like me, I see people like me, and I want to be around people like me. And I did for a minute. But let me tell you something, there's nothing like a young gay guy coming up to me that's like 15 years younger than me, that's like, hey, I know who you are because of this, this, and this, and it really gave me inspiration to do this or this. And I'm like, wow, like, that all makes it worth it. The crazy nights up, or the not knowing what's going to be next, or this or this or this or this, it makes it all worth it.
You know what I mean? Is. It really is a beautiful thing. And I think, like, I've had one or two people reach out to me. I don't have as big of a platform as you do by any means.
I hate that you say that.
Well, I don't.
It doesn't matter, because quality over quantity. And I'm not saying I don't have quality. I do. It's just some people look at this number and they look at me and they look at all these things and they're like, wow, I want to do it. You are doing it.
Well, and we all do it in our different ways. And all that to say, like, I have had one or two people reach out to me something along the same source. And when I tell you, like, it makes my
week. Gives you like this whole new recharge of like power to be like, okay, I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, and now I can't let you down. Yeah. So let me.
And you helped me just as much as I helped you, and you don't even know it.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? Exactly. One hand always feeds the other. What is the saying?
Do you remember? I don't. Oh yeah. One hand washes the other.
One hand washes.
Do you remember that we were in the park for some reason? We were with Oakland, and that little boy came up to me and he was like, "You're a YouTuber," and blah blah blah. And I wasn't even a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't. The show didn't even exist nowhere near. Things like that, like somebody that
It's so random.
it wasn't it though. And that little kid doesn't even know it. He
He
never
was like
will.
9 years
I
old.
thought about this the other day. That little aspect, I think, pushed me to want to go into doing the YouTube show that I wanted to do. That little 9-year-old that gave me power. And
Thank you, little Timmy.
Thank you. And he'll never know, but like, it's little things like that. Like, sometimes your actions, you don't know how much they're going to affect somebody.
Exactly.
And be like, whether that's good or bad.
I was
you know
about
what
to
I
say
mean?
the same thing, whether that's good or negative.
Mhm.
Like, you think you could just, like, for the longest time, I was like, I'm in a bad mood, and that's everyone's problem around me because I'm overwhelmed, and so I'm irritated and I'm on edge, and you don't realize sometimes
Misery
just like
loves company.
the little cut, the eyes you give somebody because you don't have the patience to center yourself before you interact with somebody.
Yeah.
That could be like the last straw, the straw that breaks the camel's back, dude. And the same way that you breathing life into somebody could be exactly what they needed to get off the couch for the first time in a week. Like, you just never know. So be good, be kind, take care, and mind your business.
Cut.
Yeah, right. We will.
I'm like,
We'll make it quick.
It's
pink as fuck in this bitch.
I'm going to keep that for the it is pink I was thinking that day when I walked in the room.
I walk in here, I'm like, first delicious, pink delicious.
Make some boys go loco. All right.